We've spotlighted the Chainsaw Massacre movies a lot on the program. Why, on this very channel, we have reviews for Comedy Part 2, Horror Part 2, and Illuminati Part 2. But where the hell is the review for the first one? Oh right, the archive site, filmed and edited during the Blip TV days, which means it's very hard to move over here to YouTube. This review looks like you smeared grease onto a 70s porn parody of Chainsaw Massacre. It makes the footage of the movie look like it's in 4K. There's only one thing to do, remake the review before I get to the actual remake of the movie, and feature more shots of my ass. Head Cheese is a beloved PG-rated thriller fit for the whole family to see and discuss over dinner, or at least it is in an alternate universe, originally titled Head Cheese, and intended to be a PG-rated film to make it easier to find distributors. Instead, over 50 years later, it's regarded as one of the scariest films ever made, with one of the greatest titles ever made, so you bet your ass it's an R. The movie is so raw, I still don't know if I'm old enough to see it yet. It's one of the many films of its kind to be inspired by the Ed Gein murders, here being about a cannibal family in Texas decorating their home in skin chic. Director Tobe Hooper co-wrote the script with Kim Henkel, and it was made for around $140K. But do you know what they could have done with a little extra money?
Something has happened, and it's very great.
That's right, included Johnny Charo. With a cast of unknowns, mainly being local talents in Texas from theater and commercials, they set out in 110-degree weather to run their asses off from Icelandic actor Gunnar Hansen going insane, and also being a commentary on misinformation by calling it a true story, and reflecting society's numbness to violence due to the Vietnam War. Whatever, I'm still saying it's a true story. I've got no reason to think otherwise. It takes place 8 years before I was born.
The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths.
This is exactly how the gritty reboot of The Breakfast Club is gonna open.
In particular, Sally Hardesty and her invalid brother Franklin.
Oh man, invalid Franklin already catching some hate. Franklin is real, damn it. The one part of me that wishes they kept the original title would be just to hear John Larroquette say Head Cheese all serious, said in 1973, completely ignoring the canon of Texas Chainsaw 3D, which specifically says this is supposed to be the 90s, makes more sense in the 70s. You see, we often had a difficult time taking pictures of corpses due to the flash photography going out every few pictures or so. That's why our sculptures of corpses has the proportions way off, and they stink too, phew! We needed the power from the freezers to activate our photo labs, but by God did it make the bodies stink. You're gonna get much better lighting in the opening credits, set directly on the sun. This is a low-budget movie. They had to take shortcuts anywhere they could. That's why the movie opens with the set's catering, and the hiring of actors who will look just like the SNL parodies of the movie. Can't wait for the sketch where Belushi takes a leak in the coffee can, and the physical comedy. No, aliens belong in the fourth film. The fourth didn't have aliens in it, but would you have been surprised if it did? This one at least nails the atmosphere in the documentary style of filmmaking, detailing exactly why I never went on college road trips.
The condition of retrogradation is contrary or inharmonious to the regular direction of actual movement in the zodiac.
Because I'm always stuck overhearing conversations like that. In real life, there's very little roadside shenanigans. It was always stars and killers. Can I just say that I'm glad I'm rewriting some of the jokes from the original review, because here's what I originally said to that clip. Yes, but what about when the left star is 2 octaves east of the Earth's Venus, thus creating conflict in the Sun's collective of the Lion and the Taurus? Like hell, I'm gonna memorize that again. I don't even want to know how many takes that took the first time. This is a nice afternoon drive through Texas to see if their grandfather's grave has been desecrated, and if not, they're gonna piss on it themselves.
My granddaddy's buried here. Can we find out if anything happened to him?
What's your granddaddy's name?
And be sure to stay away from that Boggy Creek monster. How the hell do they know which bodies are the corpses and which are the townsfolk laying around drunk at 11 in the morning? The town cakes itself in Coors Light vomit to mask the nearby slaughterhouse, a stench so powerful they completely forgot about Franklin's pecan.
I mean, they'd start squealing and freaking out and everything, and then have to come up and bash them 2 or 3 times.
We get it, Franklin. You want us to stop off at the Whataburger on the way back.
Boom! Goes boom! And then
Franklin, I like meat. Please take this up.
And yes, we will take you to the local brothel for some fisting. We need to lighten the mood on this trip. Let's pick up a smelly-ass hitchhiker. Then we won't have to talk to Franklin anymore. He's on the up and up. He looks nothing like Rutger Hauer. We're safe.
That gun's no good. I was in there once with my uncle. With a sledge.
Oh, that gun just scares them away. You gotta break the cattle's spirit first. I take them cows home for a good one-night stand, and then don't call them the next day. Puts them down real easy. It may not be called head cheese anymore, but they still explain the original title.
They take the head and they boil it, except for the tongue. They scrape all the flesh away from the bone.
Normally, I would have gagged at that, but it sounds way better than eating the decades-old Reggie bar. As funny as it is when 70s Josh Gad looks more shocked than rolling down a hill for the 12th time that day, none of you should be surprised that this Allman Brothers roadie who smells like he wrapped his joint in scrotum cuts himself with a blade. A couple of my favorite things about the scene is that while all this craziness is going on in the back, Jerry is a very reliable driver. He keeps his eyes on the road, not knowing that this hitchhiker pulled out his favorite porn mag, the novelization of Home on the Range. And it isn't cutting himself that made them throw him out. It's taking Franklin's picture and then lighting it on fire. And also cutting Franklin, but who in the van wouldn't do that? You son of a bitch, you've gone too far. We were gonna grill some Injun fried eggs on that foil. Plus, what was he supposed to do? Fire was the only way to delete pictures back then. In times like these, I could also go for a barbecue Coca-Cola. Must be one of those new wacky flavors from Japan. They might have to fill their tank with that.
I got no gas.
You're out of gas?
My tank's empty.
No gas? Well, could you at least point us to the nearest house to get murdered? Might as well check out the old family home.
You boys don't want to go mess around no old house. Those things is dangerous. You're liable to get hurt.
In fairness, the whole world is a booby trap for Franklin. Franklin is sad enough that he even misses his old friend, the hitchhiker.
It takes something, though. I mean, just to do that to yourself like he did. God.
Franklin, you're a big enough drag on this trip already. We don't need you going through an emo phase. And what the hell is he eating? Alright, old man, you could have at least made your food not look like this poor bastard's dick. Kurt wouldn't let me cut myself, so I just picked up a dog turd. I was hungry, guys. I'd eat something. It's the realism that makes me love these characters. It's not like they're the most three-dimensional people in the world, but when they're filmed just having a normal conversation like this, it genuinely looks like I'm watching home movie footage of just some friends hanging out. And it's totally realistic they would just let Franklin figure out a way to get inside himself. Maybe they just put these spooky props in the house just to see what Franklin would do.
Sally? Sally?
Uh-oh, Franklin. That means you gotta kiss a chicken. Unfortunately, there will be no skinny dipping in this horror film because the lake has been swallowed up by Texas. Perhaps you could try finding a bathtub at the neighbor's house. You'd be bathing in just as much garbage water, probably. They've got free cups to wash your hair. And there's an outdoor generator. When he takes pictures of your dead bodies later, there will be way more power. I like where this guy's head's at. I know if I went on a strange porch and found a random ass tooth laying around, would I be concerned and want to get the hell out of there? Probably, but my first thought would definitely be to gross out my wife. Then I'd consider going in the house.
Anybody home?
See, that sound means the barbecue is gonna be good and fresh. Well, this I gotta see! The sign out front did say that if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Oof, that sound it makes when he slams the door still gives me chills. It's fun going back to the first, well before there were some sequels, sidequels, remakes, reboots, where this shot was the only thing the filmmakers took from the original. It worked in X though, probably why that was the best Chainsaw Massacre remake. And I remember my days as a delivery driver for Osco Drug. No joke, I was. I used to walk into hoarders' houses like this all the time, and always left in the mood for not just any exploitation film, but one with a Colonel Sanders cameo. Seriously, if the Colonel was in this film, it would have gotten even more play at the drive-ins. It was around here that I think Ed Gein decided to sue the producers of the movie for slander. He stated that the bones make for a far better table, not a bench. Does this thing look comfortable to sit on? They really aren't gonna let Leatherface work, are they? See, every time someone new comes in, it breaks his concentration. God damn it, we've had an intruder not once but twice today. How does this keep happening? She should have seen this coming, but her psychic prediction for the day was that someone was gonna get their meat hooks on her, and she completely misinterpreted that. When you look at it, they shoot it in a way that makes it feel much gorier than it is, but still looks like I'm watching a blood-splattered slasher. It feels like I'm stuck in a room where this is actually happening. The others need to get out of there before Franklin eats the rest of the field.
Listen, I think I'll walk down to the creek before it gets too dark.
Can I go too?
I think you better stay here.
No, we need you to stay. The prologue specifically stated that you're the survivor, and that Franklin is far too invalid to help me. It can't be that dangerous. Look, he's walking into a shot from Terrence Malick's Days of Heaven. That'll give you a good philosophical lesson, more so than any of your college books. Plus, you'll see pretty shots of nature and get in a good nap. Jerry gets into the house much easier because Leatherface thinks he's one of the members of King Harvest. Who wouldn't let this man in? And we all know Marilyn Burns' legendary scream, but shout out to this great death reaction from Jerry. Comedy gold, Mr. Cocktail. Same with when Leatherface gets sympathetic. Forget that he's a killer. He's sincerely wondering how many more people are gonna keep wandering into his home. It's his one day off from the factory. He just wants some alone time, wearing his finest suit and carving up bodies in peace. And these traveling young folks won't stop rummaging through his bones. we'd all be a little annoyed. Not even playing Dancing in the Moonlight will help him find his groove again. I can tell these are good friends because they haven't bolted yet. Franklin, move out of the damn way so I can drive home. Screw y'all! Damn it, Sally, if this were a much worse movie, we could see where we were going, cause this would all be shot day for night. Damn director wanting realism out of this. Even this brother and sisterly love.
I'll go with you, all right? No, Sally, come on, I'll go with you.
Take the hint, Franklin, she really wants to ditch you. What weird siblings, like Larry Flint creeping up behind Marcia Brady, and this movie screams Jerry more than any given episode of Springer.
Jerry! Jerry!
Jerry!
That goes on for about 5 minutes. Even Jerry's corpse is screaming out, "I'm dead!" Let's take a break while Franklin finds a snake hole to shit in.
Created by Tobe Hooper, maker of the screen sensation, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What happens to these people in Eaten Alive will give you the most chilling, terrifying 90 minutes you ever spent in a theater. Eaten Alive, a VIP picture, rated R.
We're back, and it's worth all the walking when we get to the part that causes audiences to cheer at every re-release.
Sally, I hear something. Stop. Stop.
Aw, poor Franklin, often considered to be one of the least liked characters in a horror classic, but sometimes my enjoyment of a character comes from how many times I can reference them in several episodes. Franklin's whole wet blanket, whiny-ass personality is enough to place him in the Mount Rushmore of snob references, along with Ben Tramer, Shelley, and Return to Sleepaway Camp's Alan. Wait, I rarely reference Alan. Alan sucks. Franklin is the far superior Alan. Replace Alan on Mount Rushmore with Bob. And Franklin was a big enough trophy for the family that they kept his skeleton for the next decade. See, Franklin's bones had a cameo in part 2, where they gave him a different flashlight. Now just remember, if we're keeping part 4 in canon, Leatherface is only doing this to study fear while he's being paid by the Illuminati. I'd give up on searching for a person to help you. Maybe you should actually try finding a phone. See, Johnny Knoxville is all passed out. He ain't gonna help. When I originally reviewed this, I wonder if I was running out of notes to take somewhere in this long chase scene, because for whatever reason, I started playing Lindsey Buckingham over the footage. What was my thought process? Okay, they're on a road trip, you know, like in National Lampoon's Vacation. I got it. Holiday Road. Comedy. Not to mention this dated-ass joke. I wish they'd make Texas Vacation. The series would surely go back to its R rating then. Oh, naive Cinema Snob. You'll regret those words when the Vacation reboot comes out years later. That old man ain't gonna be any help either, but it does solve the mystery of what the hell Franklin was sucking on, not to mention that hidden recipe of Farmer Vincent's fritters. In my old review, I must have really liked the music jokes, because why make fun of Sally getting hit with a broom when I could just play this? He's pounded down, loaded up and trucking. A Smokey and the Bandit reference? Why? Because they're driving from a smokehouse? I couldn't even go for a Stroker Ace reference? That one was at least about a chicken joint. The old man ain't too bad of a father. See, he loves his son. He's teaching him some tough love, reminding him that hitchhiking is against the law in this county. Jim Siedow is great in this. I still quote it whenever something happens to any door I'm standing near.
Look what your brother did to that door!
In fairness, one of the millions of termites in this place would have done the same thing. Dad doesn't mind all the bones laying around or the stench, but he takes seriously a welcoming presence with the front door.
You damn fool! You ruined the door!
Okay, but if you do get a new door, maybe try using the locks once in a while. Whoa, wait a minute. The hitchhiker was evil?
Oh, I thought you was in a hurry.
No, I wasn't in a hurry. I just didn't like you. It's the family trying out their new late-night comedy hour. Look, they've lit up their mascot, Jeffrey Peterson. Balls, there goes my penis. Then we'll get to our feature presentation. The Manson family presents the Rocky Horror Picture Show. As crazy as a lot of the dinner scenes get in the later movies, where they certainly try topping themselves, none have matched the terror in this. McConaughey going batshit was glorious, but a lot are just filmed in very static shots, whereas this gets right in your freaking face, like you really are at a family dinner in hell. How do I make comedy out of one of the most disturbing sequences put on film? Well, by using cuteness, of course. Sadly, I couldn't stop there in the old review.
I must admit, I'm not a huge fan. What the hell are you doing? Stop it. Will you quit that? You seriously get that out of my... That's really freaking distracting. I don't like that. I will eat a dead body if you just get that camera out of my freaking face. I will eat flesh.
Ad-libbing. Hey, look, Grandpa's hitting her head with a mini sledge. What song are you gonna put over this scene, young snob? Nothing? What's wrong? Couldn't find a copy of If I Had a Hammer by Leonard Nimoy? She's more of a fan of Shatner's Transformed Man, so she's out the door. No, now she's ruined the damn window! Oh wait, that's okay. I only care about the damn door! At least they can take the hitchhiker's bones and maybe make a nice footstool. Hilarious dummies provided by Late Night with David Letterman. Now for the smartest man in the movie. He gets one look at this bullshit and is like, nope, I'm out. I don't even want my truck anymore. I've had enough of humanity. I'm living in the woods. Then Leatherface gives up on killing on account of finally realizing that a chainsaw hurts. It did improve his dancing skills, though. I am fully satisfied with ending on this iconic shot, and with Sally's insane glee as she gets away. But if you want to know more about what happened to Sally, she's either dead in part 3, or committed in part 4, or living her life as legacy sequel Laurie Strode in Netflix Chainsaw Massacre. The original's always a great one to revisit, but let's be honest, in re-reviewing the film, it's just to get to one of the most end-of-video stinger moments.